Hey, welcome to my channel, and thank you for being here now, present, interested in evolving, increasing your levels of consciousness, awareness, and finding out and connecting with who you really are. So, this is part two of a two-part series of my spiritual awakening and experiences of what I've been through and how I'm now perceiving the world. So, in my spiritual awakening, part one, I talked about kind of the storyline of how I started off as a kid, and then I started to become more interested in building up that desire and curiosity to dive into the unknown and dive into more spiritual concepts about what the truth was, because I didn't resonate with the truth that was being taught to me throughout my life. So I discovered, third eye concepts. I discovered that the world and I are interconnected through energy, as we are all energetic beings, and I don't have to elaborate too much on that because there is plenty of scientific, for those of you who like logical proof, tangible proof, you can search up quantum physics and it shows you, that all this is part of who we really are, and that we're just uncovering now at this very moment, because we're actually really starting to become more interested, more curious about the truth of our existence, the truth of our reality. So I talked a little bit in depth about, how I perceive things, what was going through my mind, and the journey itself. So I'm gonna elaborate a little bit more right now on Spiritual Awakening Part 2. So I just wanna say that throughout this journey, as you start the beginning stages of my spiritual awakening, and yours probably too, you start to notice that the illusions start to fade away spontaneously within yourself. You start to see yourself and feel more open-minded just by you making that first conscious choice if you weren't open-minded to begin with. You start to see, as you start to become more, spiritual, and accepting the fact that there is a more infinite, intelligent aspect of yourself that's beyond this physical body, is when it's like you're being receptive, and that light within you, right, it starts to grow. It starts to grow to the point where you really start, it's like you're accumulating energy within yourself. Your intuition, your awareness is increasing. That's why I always emphasize in my videos to awareness is key. If you want to reach new states of consciousness, all you have to do is be more aware, because you will start to be aware and receptive to the things that are already there. It's just that you hadn't noticed them before, like energies. The energies that you can feel in between the palms of your hands, that I started to feel and be conscious of. Being sensitive and knowing that there are other presences around you, guides, angels, always there, waiting on your call. Trying to be conscious in your dreams, asking for dream guidance, counting your coincidences in your daily life, and seeing that everything's happening for a reason, and that there's actually something else there, kind of getting your attention while you're going through your normal daily life. And by you increasing your awareness, you're tapping into this new infinite reality of yourself, this higher aspect, this higher self. And you start to see that our reality really wasn't what we've been taught. As I noticed throughout my evolution, through my awakenings, I started off first automatically becoming very open-minded and saying, wow, things really aren't the way they seem. So then, by just feeling that new reality of myself, it led me to even more research, more practice. So I started to meditate more. I actually took the action to change my diet, because I said to myself, and I believed before I saw results, I said that, there has to be some truth behind this. And my body is actually asking me to let go of meat. I used to love burgers. At the beginning of my spiritual awakening experience, that was probably one of the last meals I had before I stopped eating meat. And at first, I stopped eating so much meat, but then it became apparent within myself, within my being, that I no longer was needing that at this given moment, and that I needed to let go of me in order to evolve my physical vessel, in order to have more space for higher energy, so that I wasn't so grounded in the physical, so that I could transcend. Remember, we are transcending and reaching new states of consciousness. So we're gonna have to leave a portion of ourselves, and which I've noticed, I had to leave a portion of myself that I was so attached to. My indulgence in food, in sex, in drinking, and watching TV, and playing games, and associating with people that really weren't doing the work and weren't interested in evolving because they were stagnant and complacent and okay with how their life is going, because spirituality isn't relevant to them at the time. Because since everything is so physical, the spiritual is insignificant. When in reality, we are all interconnected. Like I said, quantum physics proves that. We are all energy, we are all interconnected. So I noticed by evolving, right, you're assisting others and showing them the way. You're leading by example. And that by one person evolving, it will help and inspire all others to evolve. So now it's not one person evolving and that's it. Now it's actually the human species evolving as a whole on their planet. It kind of seemed a little foreign to talk about it that way, because it kind of makes it seem like we're some type of extraterrestrial race. And I'm not going to argue that we're not, but I'm just going to say that we're a species with potential that's just magical and crazy. And the fact that you can expand so much and evolve. And there's so many levels that you can tap into and become a part of. There's so many abilities, extrasensory abilities that you can develop, and skills that make you magnificent, that make you human. But you have to accept that you're beyond just the human that you know, which is just a physical person that goes to work, goes to school, and that is dominated by logical thinking. You see, so I started to, as I went through my spiritual awakening experience, at first I was open-minded, and then due to an open mind, I began to have more mystical experiences, more supernatural experiences. I took that seriously by changing my diet, by practicing these methods. So I advanced even more, not only with being open-minded, but now I started to evolve as a being, as a whole in myself. I started to feel less and less human every single week. Because that week gave me time to actually evaluate myself and how much I was evolving in my thinking, in my emotions. Who was in control of who? Was I the one in control of my complete vessel, my being, my emotions, thoughts, and actions? Or were they controlling me in the way I felt? So I started to notice that I was actually becoming more and more empowered and in control of who I am. But it's all a journey. These are all steps in spiritual awakening after spiritual awakening after spiritual awakening. I want to talk about one of my, you could say, recent spiritual awakenings, which happened about a month and a half ago. So this was right after I had really been, serious about doing the work. And then I had accepted the fact that if I really wanted to add value to people, I would really have to dive deep into who I was and start to transcend fear, to let go of fear and what everyone thought, so I could really start to make a difference, so so that I could really start to show people their true multidimensional, higher intelligent self, their true self, so that they themselves could tap into it. So they themselves will have now something to contemplate that's within their reach. So I started to become more serious. I really started to, practice healing myself, becoming more balanced and centered, and started to make videos so that you guys can see my progression as an individual, the way I become a better teacher, a better guide, a better human being. Therefore, leading by example and also leading into the way of light, into the way of evolution. And so that you have a foundation to see what it is that's out there. So that you have someone to judge from experience. And you can just take what resonates with you using your intuition, using your heart. And if you feel what I'm saying is true and right and makes sense to you, then you can finally go ahead and do it and have your own spiritual awakening, have your own transcendence, and really learn who you are. Because as much as we like to think that we know who we are, as much as I like to think that I knew who I was, I did not know this other portion of myself. My entire life I thought I was just a person, capable of only person things, like working, going to school, and getting a job and becoming successful, and that's it. When in reality, there was a whole nother, a truer, infinite portion of myself that was just there. That was the actual connection with God that many people seek, but that's so out of reach for them because they make it seem that way. And then by having that interest to learn about myself, I was actually beginning to learn and discover the secrets of the universe, the so-called secrets, because we weren't aware of them, when you first start. But there is no secret, but you have to have that interest, that desire to actually figure that out. And it's funny because it's all connected. So just by learning about myself, my self-inquiry, and wanting to know the truth about how things work, I asked and I received. That's another thing I want to talk to you about in this video. That throughout my spiritual awakening, a lot of times I felt alone. I felt alone in my journey because even though I had a lot of people surrounding me, nobody was tapping into and no one was connecting with that deeper portion of myself. I had no one to talk about it to. I had no one to talk about it with. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but you know what I'm saying. So I would always find solitude, and I would always just think in terms and talk in my head about who am I, where am I going. And I started to realize that as I started to think these thoughts about myself, about evolving, there was something else, a higher presence guiding me, giving me messages by number, synchronicities, those number patterns, 111, 222, 333, 555. They kept on coming, if I asked for them or not, just by me being aware. I started to be guided to, learning about angels and spirit guides, about the true self, and getting confirmations about that as well. That every time I'd start to doubt myself just for a second, when I was having a bad day, that I would get a rush of love out of nowhere that I didn't even ask for, but that I knew that it was that presence, that those other higher loving presences, wiser presences, guiding and loving me and supporting me, when no one here on the physical was supporting me and was guiding me and was understanding where I was coming from and where I wanted to go. So I encourage you, through my experience, that if you feel stuck, if you feel alone, and you feel that you need reassurance and confirmation, increase your awareness about what's actually going on, investigate, and ask. Ask and set the intention. In the name of love and light, I call forth upon my angels, spirit guides, God, the universe. Pray, whatever you feel comfortable with, do it. And do it from your heart, pure of heart, earnestly, so you can get results for yourself. So that can give you the confidence that there's something else out there. Because I feel like a lot of you watching here already know and have that feeling that there is something out there, that I am more than just this human, mind, body thing, individual. That I am much more than that. You are. And that's awesome. That's awesome that you have that little nudge, because that would just begin to grow and grow and grow until you actually become it. Like I can finally say now, without a doubt in my mind, that I am more than just this mind body. That I've had a plenitude of experiences, feelings, and thoughts that have spontaneously arisen within my being that cannot be explained by a physical, logical mind. That comes from beyond, a different reality of who I am. So I tell you now to ask, to open yourself up. Remember, you're staying open-minded and you're evolving with what you learn. And using your love so you don't get stuck with fear. That's one of the worst ones. And that this is me making this video for you guys, my spiritual awakening experience, and how it feels to be spiritually awakened. To be spiritually awake and aware, and to increase your levels of consciousness. It's only you progressing into knowing your real self, your true self. That God within. The universe that you have inside you. Whatever you feel comfortable saying about it or calling it. That's all that it is. You're evolving as a being, as a species. And you're becoming and being aware that, wow, I am that. I am more than just this. And you reach a point where you finally know, and that there is no doubt in your mind that you are this infinite being, and that you are here having a human experience to evolve and learn and love all other selves. Meaning everybody, all the people around the world, that we're all connected as one, evolving together. And that's why it's so important, as you start to be spiritually awake, your boundaries, your illusions of separation between other individuals starts to dissolve along this path, along this journey. And then you start to create your reality along with other people that are aware of creating their reality with their thoughts and emotions. You become more mentally and emotionally mature with the way that you act. You become more loving by nature because you see yourself in other people. And you can see the ripple effect, or the domino effect that starts to happen when more and more people start to realize their true self, their true potential. The highest potentiality of who they really are. The more people start to realize that, we just come closer and closer to that higher version of ourselves, our best version. And there's so many magical realities of you that are waiting for you to merge into. There's so many supernatural, extrasensory, psychic abilities that you can tap into. That you can tap into and explore and investigate and enjoy what it is like to be human and spiritual at the same time, because you're everything. You are both. You are here in this physical body to experience what it is to be physical, but then to know yourself even more and transcend those physicalities about yourself. To then see past the overindulgence of drinking, having sex, and then becoming more than just that and wanting and craving that, and of actually creating magnificent creations through your ideas and creativity of what you want to do with this world. About creating your dream life, loving others, inspiring others, and little by little becoming more infinite in your nature. All because you took that conscious choice to say, I am more than just this. I have not reached my potential. And so therefore you start to awaken. And I'm forever grateful for my, spiritual awakenings. Because that led me to the point of where I am right now. And my advice to all of you watching right now is that it gets easier and easier. It might seem, the topics, because we're talking from two different, you're listening and I'm speaking from two completely different points of view, points of being. So, yes, I have complete trust that you're understanding exactly what I'm saying. And I hope that you guys are resonating with what I'm saying as well. But now it comes a point where whatever your mind is trying to create as I'm speaking, try to let it go. Try to come from that higher, intelligent, wiser, open, unbiased point of yourself that I know is there while you're listening to this information. Take it, investigate for yourself, and become and evolve as a person. Don't stay limited to someone rigid and narrow-minded in their beliefs and in the way they behave. Because again, you're transcending that portion of yourself. And in your very essence, you're becoming more God-like. Not in an arrogant way of saying, oh, I'm a God. No. You're just tapping into your true self, your true nature. And all I'm doing is helping you and breaking it down so you can see it in a logical way. Then coming from a point that as you practice, you begin to transcend the logic and it just comes to you. You experience it. You have these experiences for yourself and you witness it and you realize all of it. So I want to prepare you, and I hope that you've understand, what it entails and how you can avoid, all the hurdles of spiritual awakening. Come from love. Let love in your heart steer you, your intuition guide you, and protect you from false information. So that you take what is from the highest truth and you use that to your advantage for yourself to grow. And that you make the conscious choice to make those necessary changes that you need in your life, in your lifestyle, to become this new version of yourself. It's a process, it's a journey, and you're going to start experiencing all these new things about yourself. You're going to start feeling more, thinking more thoughts such as the ones we were talking about right now. Of course, the physical is relevant, but there's so many spiritual components involved about how we function, about how the reality works itself, about how we live our lives. It's all governed by spiritual laws and fundamentals. So might as well be aware of them and accept that that's who we are. And just by doing that, you begin to evolve. So, next video. Thank you for watching now. So, Spiritual Awakening Part 2 maybe was just a little bit of a clarification of Spiritual Awakening Part 1 and kind of showing you just where you're taking yourself and how I took that next step within myself. And I went from that person that had that first spiritual awakening and you said, okay, there is something out there. All right, I got a little bit of proof. And from getting that little bit of proof, you build up even more desire. You did more of the work, more practice, more dedication. And then you actually became it. You became this new version of yourself that you had no idea about in the previous version. In the previous version, you were just like, okay, I got a little bit of results. You know, there is something out there, cool. And then you move on to the next level. You actually become this. You're like, oh my gosh. You know, you start to actually see more from what of your hands. Everything seems more like a freaking fantasy, like a movie. Your extrasensory abilities start to get activated. Now there's no escape. Now you know for a fact. Now you just build that belief more and more about yourself. This is who I am, and no one can take it away from me. No matter if the people around me and my family are not aware. Love them, accept them, understand them, but keep on evolving yourself. Don't let anybody make you come down to their level. Because the only thing is that you're aware of your level now. You're aware of who you truly are, your true self. And other people may not be, but that's okay. More evidence and more people, like I said, the domino effect of people realizing their true nature and and that they can create the reality will start to be evident throughout the world until more and more people have to do it. They just have to accept it, the reality that's already there. So, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video I have for you guys. I will be talking about the third eye. What is the third eye? How to open your third eye. What it's like to have an open third eye. Everything about a third eye is coming in the next video, so hope you guys are ready for this. This week is going to be packed with videos every single day to get you guys excited, inspired, so we can evolve together. Bye-bye.